Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. 'Tis the season. Tonight, I'm going to talk about Santa Claus and through the Christmas season because it's that time. It's the holidays. Now, I'm going to discuss what's the true meaning of Christmas, who celebrates Christmas, and why do they celebrate, and how do they celebrate it. First, what is Christmas? Traditionally, Christmas is the celebration of Jesus Christ. Historically, within the past couple centuries, it's been more of a winter festival considered. Christmas is a time for love, forgiveness, it's a time to rejoice, and it's a time to give our love to God for everything He's done for us. The most important reason we celebrate Christmas is to celebrate Christ's birth. It's a sacred and religious holiday, and it's worldwide. For the past 2 millennia, people observe it with different traditions and different practices. Christians most commonly celebrate Christmas Day as an anniversary for Christ's birth in Nazareth. There's several popular customs. First, there's the exchanging of gifts. There's the getting a Christmas tree and decorating it with homemade gifts and ornaments and bought ornaments. And then there's going to church and celebrating God's birth with those of your common religion. And then you have the meal times with your friends and your family, and you reminisce. And then there's also Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is the most commonly known and recognized person related to Christmas. In 1870, the United States officially declared Christmas as a federal holiday. Now, what is the origin of Christmas? How did it come about? Where did it begin? Today, for Christians, as I've said, it's the birth of Jesus. There's nothing more, nothing less. That's what Christians believe, and that's why we celebrate Christmas. It's also thought that Christmas is on the 25th of December because that was the birth of the sun god Mithra. Many people have that same belief. In the 19th century, Americans began to celebrate Christmas. We changed it from a carnival holiday to a center day of peace and nostalgia. Who all celebrates Christmas? Obviously, most Americans celebrate Christmas, but it's also recognized throughout the world. 3 of the most commonly and most renowned places is Belgium, Finland, and France. Finland is most commonly recognized as celebrating Christmas because it is thought that Father Christmas, or Santa Claus, lives in northern Finland, and when kids write their letters, that's where they send them, to the North Pole or northern Finland. Belgium has very similar traditions as the United States, as Americans do. They celebrate on the 6th day of December Sinterklaas, who's also Santa Claus. Saint Nick, sorry. And then on Christmas Day, Santa Claus comes to visit and he bears gifts for children. In France, Christmas is most commonly known as Noel. They do the similarities as we do. They buy a tree, they decorate it, but they decorate it with more traditional, where they use red bows and ribbons, and the most common tradition was white candles were put all over the tree, which is where we get our idea of white lights. What is the true meaning of Christmas? Well, as I've stated many times, the true meaning of Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Christ. He was not created by a traditional mother and father. He was created from God, from his Father. And this is why Christmas has been mostly called the Incarnation. The Incarnation stands for the flesh. And because the birth of the Lord was known as the incarnation of the flesh, that's why Christmas has been also known as the Incarnation. After Jesus' birth, we had 3 wise men come. But the Bible does not state that it was 3 wise men. What was stated was that there was 3 gifts given. So that's where the most commonly known tradition was, that there was 3 gifts, so therefore there was 3 kings or 3 wise men. Father Christmas is now known as Santa Claus. He is the face of Christmas, but Santa Claus comes from the idea of St. Nicholas, which is also known as Santa Claus. St. Nicholas was a Dutch, St. Nicholas was known as Sinterklaas in Dutch, and he was a Christian leader. And as he was walking through his towns, he noticed there was a lot of poor children who could not get gifts from their families. So he was a very shy person, and rather than just hand out gifts and everybody know who he was, he secretly handed out gifts to the poor. Well, it's thought that he saw a poor family and he threw gifts into their chimney, and these gifts fell down in the chimney and happened to fall into a stocking that a little girl had hung in front of her fire to dry. And that's where today's idea of Santa Claus coming into homes through the chimney and putting gifts in stockings comes from. Today, this is how we celebrate Christmas. Santa Claus comes down our chimney and leaves gifts under our decorated Christmas trees and in our stockings, and it's in remembrance of St. Nicholas as well as Christ's birth. So there's many ways and meanings of Christmas. For, like I said, the Christians, it's the birth of Jesus, but for others, it's to remember St. Nicholas. But remember, to everybody celebrates Christmas, and it's a time to rejoice and love and forgive. So, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.